Council members and members of the public, my name is Phil Cohen. Despite the need to address the huge problems we face in the wake of Hurricane Sandy, sadly, elected officials play political games and waste taxpayer dollars. After Carol Marsh dramatically announced her resignation effective October 3rd, the council minority realized that it did not have the votes to prevent other council people and the mayor from replacing Carol Marsh's seat. So these four council people figured if they didn't have enough votes to appoint the candidate of their choice, if their lawyers were smart enough, they could come up with a plan to block the other four council people from appointing Councilwoman Marsh's replacement. What did the lawyers find? First, appointing a new council person requires 5 yes votes. Second, Mayor Zimmer can cast a decisive 5th vote, but only to break a 4-4 tie. Finally, the council only has 30 days to act. If a replacement council person isn't seated in 30 days, the seat stays vacant until the next election. So they made a simple plan. One of them would stay away for 30 days, so there could never be a 4-4 tie. Mayor Zimmer would never be able to cast the 5th vote, and the council minority would regain the power they lost election day. And that's exactly what they did. Councilwoman Mason stayed away on October 3rd, and Councilman Russo stayed away on October 17th. After Councilman Doyle was sworn in on October 3rd, what did these four council people do? They who created the so-called problems relating to Councilman Doyle's appointment by agreeing at least one of them would stay away, they sued the city of Hoboken to overturn Jim Doyle's appointment, thanks to Councilwoman Mason's generosity. What happened next? Numerous emergency hearings, lawyer filings, court conferences, and tens of thousands of wasted taxpayer dollars, all to address the problems these four council people created and then exploited to game the system. The city filed an application to compel the four council people to do what they had creatively planned not to do at one time, to appoint a new council person. Friday, Judge Bariso agreed and ordered our council people to do what they should have done in October. The judge ordered the four council people to stop with the games, do your job, show up for work, and vote tonight here on filling the council vacancy. But even then, they decided that they would rather play political games at the taxpayers' expense. Yesterday afternoon, instead of complying with Judge Bariso's order and coming here to vote, they threw a Hail Mary pass to the appellate court, seeking an extraordinary ruling, arguing that no one, not even Judge Bariso, can tell the four of them that they should have shown up and voted in October, and no one can tell them to do so now, effectively postponing tonight's vote on Jim Doyle's appointment and creating gridlock for weeks, months. With all due respect to Mr. Russo and Mr. Acapinti and Ms. Mason and Ms. Castellano, in your quest for power, you have lost all perspective, and here's what I mean. In the brief that you filed yesterday, you describe the irreparable harm that you four would suffer if you had to vote on Jim Doyle's appointment tonight. You wrote, "This is just like when the United States Supreme Court stopped the Florida recount in the 2000 presidential election." And let me read from what you filed with the court. As all 67 Florida counties prepared to begin the recount and the nation watched with bated breath, the United States Supreme Court stopped the recount. And then you quote from the Supreme Court, "The counting of votes that are of questionable legality threatens irreparable harm to George W. Bush and to the country by casting a cloud upon what he claims to be the legitimacy of his election." And you conclude, "Similarly, it is a recipe for confusion and dysfunctional government for there to be a vote by the council to install Doyle." Here's the news flash. The country is not waiting with bated breath to see how you vote on Jim Doyle's appointment. The CNN news trucks left last month for a real crisis. Stop the madness. Stop suing the city and stop wasting the taxpayers' money. Thank you.
Council President, can I?